Coming up on Channel 8 News, we'll hear from police and partiers after another Fake Patty's Day weekend. Plus, see how international students are spending their spring break. And later, we'll hear from an SGA Elections Promotions Committee member about why it's important to participate in the campus elections, even if the candidates are running unopposed.
Right now, the weather's about 57 to 60 degrees. It's a little bit windy, but the degrees is rising to 78 later today. More is coming up on Channel 8 News.
This is KKSU-LD, broadcasting in high definition from Kansas State University, covering Manhattan, Riley County, and the Flint Hills. You're watching Channel 8 News.
Good morning, and welcome to Channel 8 News. I'm Gavin Pastine. Coming up today, we'll hear from a civil engineer about the ongoing construction project on Julia Avenue. And later, sports will take over with a recap of K-State baseball's first home series of the year, plus a look at the possibility of a K-State basketball player earning an extra year of Division I eligibility. The Riley County Police Department extended its thanks via social media this Tuesday, thanking K-State students and Manhattan residents for having a respectful Fake Patty's Day, saying the department noticed a marked improvement in behavior compared to past years. Kyra Case has more with the story.
The Riley County Police Department announced in February that they were breaking up with Fake Patty's Day.
There were some people, of course, who were afraid that meant we weren't going to be out there doing anything on Fake Patty's Day, but it was just the opposite. We had more people than we usually have out that day.
Students say that they are not breaking up with Fake Patty's Day and are actively partaking in the holiday despite the cops' presence.
We pay so much money to go to school here, just this kind of reward on the weekend, and it's kind of getting shut down, but we're going to make the best out of what we can.
I just heard it was a great time here on Raton Street, and we don't partake in like drinking activities or anything, so we just really wanted to experience it all.
Despite students saying they weren't breaking up with the holiday, Major Hayek said the RCPD noticed a positive change this year.
I do feel like we were able to interact with the crowds better, and the crowds interacted with each other better than last year. We were able to keep people moving and keep them from standing in places they weren't supposed to, and people were more receptive to that this year.
Students also voiced their intent to stay safe, though some wanted to spread another message.
We just have to let you guys know to just be aware and be open-minded about our community and just accept us, please.
And have a great Fake Patty's Day.
Be safe. Have a galactic day.
In Manhattan, Kyra Case, Channel 8 News.
Major Hayek said all official reports on Fake Patty's Day will be in by Friday, including statistics on arrests and issued citations. In recent weeks, 2 new local businesses have opened their doors in Manhattan, giving residents more choices when it comes to a quick cup of joe and a place to eat. Bootsy's and 151 Coffee recently held their grand openings, attracting local customers. 151 Coffee hopes to provide a fresh beverage menu to Manhattan residents, while Bootsy's breaks into the Aggieville restaurant scene. The Bootsy's team leader believes it is the city of Manhattan itself that attracts local business owners.
I think it's the best place in the world to do business. Almost 20 years now being in hospitality in the community. It's such a special place to be able to not only be in business, but also be a part of the broader community.
Launched a pavement rehabilitation process in February on Julia Avenue. Currently, the road is closed from Points Avenue to Pierre Street as crews work between Points and Houston. Commuters and pedestrians need a detour around the construction using Points, Pierre, or 6th Street. Bayer Construction Company contracted the $1.2 million project to recycle and resurface the brick surface and bring functional improvements such as safer sidewalks and more efficient storm drainage. The current phase is expected to be complete in May until the next phase begins south of Pierre Street. The entire project will be finished in September and roads will open up.
Julia is one of the last brick streets left in the city of Manhattan, and if you had driven this section, you would have been able to tell that it was in need of replacement. There were a lot of rutting, a lot of ruts. A lot of the bricks were actually broken. This project was started with a grant through the Kansas Department of Transportation in the historic category. There is a character and a beauty to Juliet that I think is important to retain.
With every spring break, the goal can just be to get in your car and drive home. But for international students, the plan can be much more difficult.
Kansas State now halfway over with their spring semester. Many students are eager to head home for spring break, but for some it's more difficult than others.
One of the big parts is definitely time. Just because of the different time zones, it's also a little harder for the body itself as well. The only times I've traveled back home has been in the summer and then in the winter.
Also the cost. If I plan to go back home, it costs about $2,000.
But with the difficulty between cost and time, what are these two international students doing for spring break?
I've met a lot of really good friends here, and I've been able to go to their house, and I'll be doing that for part of it. I'm part of a campus ministry called Christian Challenge, and every year they have a small trip, small retreat that they're doing. We'll be going to Table Rock. We'll be there for, I believe, 4 days.
Work for the first 3 days in the K-State Dairy. I have a part-time job there. After that, I plan to go to Omaha with my friends for about 2 or 3 days to visit a zoo.
For Channel 8 News, I'm Nate Lowen.
With spring break being a short period, we are glad to hear that these international students found a place to spend it. Coming up, we'll see how student participation in the SGA elections was different than last year. Plus, we'll hear from an SGA Elections Promotions Committee member about what the SGA election means to students and why they should participate.
This is a special place, Manhappiness.
This is a phenomenal institution, a phenomenal athletic program with a proud tradition.
They talk about family, and you can feel how genuine it is.
The community here is so strong. It's truly like the best in the world.
No matter where you come from, the color of your skin, or your religious background, together we make a family.
And when you love people, it's amazing what you can accomplish.
To the 5, to the goal line, touchdown. Sheldon is roofed by Carter. Gregory, step back three, takes the shot from distance and scores! Stank, it is gone, it's a
great weekend we had, homecoming, great crowd. The crowd was phenomenal.
It's a great day to be a Wildcat.
In the recent student government elections, Brady Kappelman and Zoe Puddens ran unopposed. Less than 10% of the student body showed up at the polls. This marks a dramatic drop in voter turnout with only half the number of votes compared to last year. Are students unaware or apathetic?
I didn't vote in the election because I wasn't aware when election day was. I think as a political science major, I value things like student government. I think it's important that students on this campus should have a voice, but I don't know if SGA necessarily does that very well. It just doesn't really make sense to me that we have a student-led government and nobody on the campus really seems to care about it.
For more on SGA elections, Elections Promotions Committee member Byron Sides joins Hannah Whetstone.
Thanks, Gavin, and thank you, Byron, for joining me here today.
First, what is the purpose of the Election Promotions Committee?
Yeah, so the promotion committee, we were kind of tasked with how to engage get students more wanting to vote for student body government, student body president, vice president, but also on those ballots are there's college senators, so making sure that they knew who they were voting for and what they were voting for.
What did your specific role look like on that committee?
My role, I think we all had an equal role except for our elections board members, but our role was just to make sure that everybody got an understanding of what the election was about, and we kind of came up with the task that there's no such thing as too much information, so we were just trying to push as much information about the election as we could.
How did student voter turnout this year compare to previous years?
Yeah, it definitely took a drop just because, student body president and vice president Brady and Zoe were running unopposed. So, it was a little bit not as contested as we've seen in years past.
Do you find it encouraging that this year's unopposed presidential race drew in more voters than the unopposed race 2 years ago?
Yes, that shows that, students on this campus are still very engaged in the election. It just, nothing like competition drives interaction, so we just always encourage that competition.
And finally, why is it important for students to vote in SGA elections?
Like I said earlier, it's not just the student body president and vice president are on the ballot. Each person that is in a college business or a college, for instance, I'm in the College of Business, so we have 9 representatives that are in the student senate. So it's important that they get along and are voting for those people as well.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for joining me here today, Byron. Gavin, back to you.
Thank you.
Coming up, we'll have a look at the weather for this week. And severe weather season is on the horizon for Kansas. What can residents do to be prepared? That's up next.
As college athletics continues to change, one thing has stayed the same:
the loyalty and support of our K-State family.
But now, there's a new way you can show your support.
You can now help student athletes like me get compensated for our name, image, and likeness.
Whether it is contributing to our official NIL collectives
or requesting autographs and more through the Open Doors Marketplace,
you are helping K-State student athletes succeed by connecting with you.
So what are you waiting for?
Come transform the K-State student athlete brand today.
Together, we represent a diverse and eclectic population.
Together, we believe that diversity, inclusion, and sportsmanship are expectations.
Together, we promote a welcoming and positive environment for all student athletes, coaches, and visitors.
Together, we treat all people with respect and dignity.
No matter their color, creed, gender, ethnicity, or sexual identity.
Together, we are an empowered family who empowers family.
Family, diverse and together.
Stronger together.
Championship on the line. Good! It's good!
Kansas weather produces a variety of hazards, including tornadoes, high winds, extreme heat, and hail. Addie Field has more on why severe weather preparedness at K-State helps protect students, faculty, and staff from danger.
The aftermath of severe weather can be devastating. Students like Creighton Mose learned the hard way how impactful severe weather can be.
It happened to be a very windy day that day, so what happened was I parked my car under a tree not knowing it was tornado weather, and when I went back out the next day, there was a giant hole in my windshield and a tree branch sticking through it.
To be prepared, you must have a plan in place and know what to do. To stay prepared for severe weather, Emergency Management Director Ricky Bloom stresses the importance of thinking ahead.
If something were to happen right now, where would I go? What would I do? So if I'm walking between campus buildings, where would I go? Where is a tornado? Where's my closest tornado shelter?
Students like Creighton Mose, who live in a fraternity, and other students who have the luxury of a basement, can seek safe shelter during tornadoes or other severe weather. But some students don't, and that's why it's important to have a plan.
Take shelter. So immediately take shelter. That's part of where having a plan ahead of time, knowing where to go. Honestly, go to the lowest level possible. And then, a room that has no windows. So even if
you're in an apartment complex, if you're on the top floor, go to the bottom floor.
K-State sends out automatic alerts to help students and faculty prepare for severe weather warnings like tornadoes.
It's important to have. Any alert system tells you any sort of information that you might not be looking up yourself or have any sort of regard for during the day.
To know what to do during these circumstances, make sure you're prepared. From Manhattan, Addie Field, Channel 8 News.
For more information on severe weather preparedness, visit the K-State Emergency Management webpage to plan your response during a weather crisis. Will the sunshine and warm temperatures stay consistent through the weekend, or are clouds and temperature dips on the horizon? Kendrick Sarles joins us from our Weather Center with more. Kendrick?
Yeah, thanks, Gavin. So let's look at the national weather. So over in the D.C. area, it's, mid-60s. Work our way down to the south, where it's 70, gets a little bit warmer as we move towards Texas. In the Phoenix, it starts dropping off. In Nevada, it starts going about mid-temperatures. Idaho, same thing. And then we come over here to Kansas, where on average, the high today will be about 78. Look a little bit closer to that. So over in Jefferson County and up in the north, it's 50 some odd. We'll look at the south. It's a little bit warmer. In the west, it's again a little bit 51, so a little bit on the mid. We'll focus more on Uvalde County though, which is on average right now about 50. So if we look at today, today's high was at 4, is going to be at 445-ish. It's going to be 70, 75. Today it was a little bit windy this morning, so it was, a little bit cooler, 56, but it felt more like 40 some odd. Let's look at the 5-day though. Tomorrow, it's going to be a little bit warmer, but it's going to be fire weather warning, so don't start any fires. Going to dip down a little bit, but then during the weekend we're going to start on the rise again. Going back to you, Gavin.
K-State baseball returned to Twington Stadium for the first time this season. How did their weekend series turn out? And Manhattan High School's wrestling team continued to dominate this season, both on the mat and in the classroom. Plus, a K-State men's basketball player may have an extra year of eligibility in Division I. Would he be willing to play one more season at K-State? That's all next.
As college athletics continues to change, one thing has stayed the same:
the loyalty and support of our K-State family.
But now, there's a new way you can show your support.
You can now help student athletes like me get compensated for our name, image, and likeness.
Whether it is contributing to our official NIL collectives
or requesting autographs and more through the Open Doors Marketplace,
you are helping K-State student athletes succeed by connecting with you.
So what are you waiting for?
Come transform the K-State student athlete brand today.
Jones unloads a bases clearing triple. 2-2, Colts strike 3 in the outside corner. Another strikeout for Buss on a high fastball. K-State has done it again. Got him swinging. K-State wins the series.
So within industrial engineering, you can actually start your master's degree a year early and start taking those classes your senior year. And then after you go through those upper level courses, you only really have a year left and you would come out with your bachelor's and master's degree, which is something I have been considering just because, it's one extra year and I do love K-State. So it's like, a win-win. But that's a perk with being an industrial engineer. You're able to get your master's degree in just one extra year.
Championship on the line. Good! It's good!
To the latest in sports, starting with the recap of K-State baseball's opening home series, how Manhattan High fared in the state wrestling tournament, and finally, a look at the status of a K-State men's basketball player status. Adolfo Blanco joins us from our Sports Center with the latest. Adolfo?
Thank you, Gavin. K-State baseball made their way back to Manhattan after 11 games away from home. The home slate began with a 3-game series against William and Mary. With the original home opening against Clayton being canceled due to extreme winds in Manhattan, fans showed out for the series beginning on Friday despite the cold temperatures. Fans say the environment at Toontown is thrilling and a great place to spend time with family and friends.
This place it's electric, and you know they needed this home crowd, and today's crowd I'm really impressed with because it's cold out and there's a lot of people here, so it's been good.
Yeah, fantastic. You get real close to the action. The turf field is a little weird, I think, but it's really cool. My kids love baseball, so to sit with them and watch is pretty cool.
Manhattan High School Wrestling continued its dominance, securing its second straight 6A state championship this winter. In addition to the success on the mat, the team also excelled in classroom, earning the title of 6A academic state champions. Straight individual state title.
Every day we're putting in the work and practice, and it takes a lot of dedication to be able to do what we do. Coach Thomas pushes us to be our best in every aspect of life.
First time in program history to be able to win them back to back. Kids put the work in. They bought into our program, bought into what we wanted to get done, what those goals were. Caleb was a great kid. Caleb is a very humble kid. Win or lose, you can really you can't tell by the expression on his face. It's next match done, and goes back to put the work in.
Kansas State celebrated Senior Day in front of Wildcat students and fans last Saturday, but it might not be the last time one Wildcat suits up at Bramlage. Toby Hamas has more on potential eligibility changes.
With recent NCAA court orders, Max Jones, a former Division II player, could receive a waiver for an extra year of eligibility. Jones had no hesitation in saying he'd return to the Little Apple.
Of course, and I definitely want to stay here at K-State. I'm still going to play this last game, and the rest of these games, like, this is my last. So, I mean, but I definitely really want that D2 waiver to come in place.
The talk of extra eligibility stems from a Wisconsin football player suing the NCAA, saying that his 2 years at Division II should not count against his eligibility because he could not receive sufficient NIL funds. Here at Bramlage Coliseum, that has become the talk of the town.
We've been on the forefront of that one. Yeah, whatever we can do to get Max Jones another year of eligibility, I'm all about it. You know, we have a compliance department that, you know, looks into waivers, and that was one of my specialties. So we're gonna turn over every rock and figure it out, my man. I'm just telling you.
The NCAA recently issued former junior college players a blanket waiver for an extra year. As of now, former D2 athletes have not been issued a waiver, but Jerome Tang is hopeful one is on the way.
Normally when one kid gets it and asserted to avoid a series of lawsuits, you know, they'll just do like a blanket waiver. I could see that happening.
This year, Tang has spoken about the importance of continuity for the future of the Wildcats. Another year of Max Jones would be key to the Wildcats' hopes becoming a reality.
My first year here, I mean, I had to learn a lot. I mean, that's different from mid-major to the Big 12, so, I mean, it'd definitely be a blessing to get a second year.
In Manhattan, Toby Helmus, Channel 8 News.
Stay tuned with Channel 8 and other student media for updates on Max Jones' eligibility. And that wraps up sports for now. We've got an exciting week ahead with postseason basketball right around the corner. Gavin.
Before we go, one last check on the weather. Will we see a dip in temperatures this weekend? Plus, here's some K-State students' plans for spring break. That's all next.
In a time of evolution, it is our time to elevate and carve our place atop in a new era. An era where championship expectations collide with championship support. We all must come together, fighting, ever fighting for the purple and the white. Times may change, but generation after generation, the support of K-Staters never wavers. K-State fans, are you ready to be a part of powering K-State athletic excellence in a new era?
This is a special place, man. Happiness.
This is a phenomenal institution, a phenomenal athletic program with a proud tradition.
They talk about family, and you can feel how genuine it is.
The community here is so strong. It's truly like the best in the world.
No matter where you come from, the color of your skin, or your religious background, together we make a family.
And when you love people, it's amazing what you can accomplish.
So the first third of the runway.
Deviations left of course approved. Bobcat 1-2, proceed when able.
Championship on the line. Good! It's good!
Let's take a final look at our weekend weather. Kendrick?
Yeah, thanks, Gavin. So we'll look at the weekend. It's going to be a little bit cooler again, but on Sunday, that's when our spring break starts. It's going to be all sunny. It's going to be all sunny. It's going to be middle degrees, so you can start soaking up the sun and all that. All right, Gavin, back to you.
With spring break just around the corner, how are Wildcats spending their time away from school? Nate Lowen has more on the story.
Here at the Kansas State Student Union, we're interviewing people about what they're doing for spring break.
For spring break, I'm going back home, and home is South Texas, so bringing my roommates. We're going down there. We're gonna go see the Alamo. We're gonna go down to the beach a couple days, eat some seafoods and a little crawfish boil. All the good stuff.
Oh, I'm from Kansas, so I'm going with my friends to Galveston. Go to the beach, just like hang out, not do homework, and yeah, take a break. Probably sleep a lot.
I am going to Arizona with my boyfriend's family for spring break, and I've never been to Arizona before, so this is something new, and I'm excited.
My parents are actually coming up to Kansas City from Tennessee, so I'm going to go to Kansas City and see them.
Going to Texas, and I'm going to go hog hunting and hopefully catch some big bass and ball out.
So I'm going back to my mom's house that's in Hutchinson, Kansas, and they got a new dog, so I'm going to meet the new dog. Her name is Rosie, so I'm really excited.
So for my spring break plans, I'm going to fly back home to Texas and Fort Worth there for a day, and then I'm going to fly over back to England with my girlfriend where she's from in the UK and just kind of like be around London and Liverpool for a bit and then come back here in school.
For my spring break, I'm going back home to England for a week just to hang out in London, go back to Liverpool and stuff like that.
That's all the time we have for today's show. We'll see you back here after spring break for more news and the latest updates from the Manhattan area. From everyone at Channel 8 News, have a great spring break.
This is Channel 8 News.